Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am going to be playing Arkham Horror the card game. I am currently working through the Dunwich Legacy. I am on scenario number... Which one am I on? Scenario number 6. Took me a minute to remember. It's called Where Doom Awaits. Once again, I'll be playing Jenny Barnes and Mark Harrigan. And just to catch you up, basically at the start of this campaign, Jenny and Mark were asked to come visit Dr. Armitage, who was concerned about two of his fellow colleagues, asked me to go searching for them. I found one of them. The other one was apparently kidnapped. He explained to me that a couple years ago they had interfered with some ritual that was summoning some ancient evil, and that based on my experiences, or based on something I had heard or Armitage had heard, he was worried that the trouble had returned. So in Miskatonic Museum, he asked me to recover the Necronomicon, which I did, but I encountered this evil creature which further enhanced or further strengthened his resolve that something was going on in Dunwich. He asked me and my colleagues to go to Dunwich. We took a train ride. That was fun. That was one of the episodes. Things went badly. We arrived in Dunwich, and when we arrived in Dunwich, we were, for the last few scenarios, they had to deal with some creatures, fighting them off. So where we left off last time was they had gone back to Zebulon's house, who is a contact in Dunwich, for some rest and recovery. And now we are back to the morning. Per the instructions of the book, I have created the event deck here. I also have picked the correct acts. There were some different versions depending upon who survived and who didn't in the earlier scenarios. I had 7 XP to upgrade both decks, so I did that. I got Jenny Barnes, I got with Charisma, which allows her another ally, a second ally. Mark already had that. I also got Jenny Barnes the Elder Sign amulet, which gives her some extra sanity protection, because the last scenario, she did not recover her sister Izzy, or did not find clues about it. So she is going to start with one sanity, or missing already. I've already put a -3 token in here, which the campaign is getting harder, so it asked me to put a -3 in here. And I forget what I upgraded Mark with, but it was some of his basic protector cards. He starts with Sophie in play and Charisma. They each start with 5 resources, and I need to draw their hands, and I'm just going to shuffle his deck real quick and then deal it out. Normally I do this before the game begins, but I want to show you how it works, because I haven't done this on video in a while. After you draw the initial 5 cards, you get 1 mulligan. 2, 3, 4, 5. You draw 5 cards, and if you draw a weakness, you can turn it back in. That's not a bad one. That's a good one. That's a good one. They're pretty much all good. So I think I'm going to keep those. Let's see. I think I shuffled Jenny's deck, but let's do it again. All right, Jenny's deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And his deck goes here. Let's see what she got. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. These are okay. So I will... She's an investigator to heal hard. That's not bad. I could do that. Okay. So I'll keep those. Now, the way this begins, let me read the intro. You awaken to the sound of screeching. Fearing the worst, you grab your equipment and head out into the streets of Dunwich. As soon as you step outside, you sense a foulness in the cold night air, an awful, pungent smell that can scarcely be described, and a heaviness to the atmosphere that makes it difficult to breathe. The citizens of Dunwich have sealed their doors, and the town feels quiet and lonesome. In the distance, a faint glow emanates from a hilltop above the village. You know of this hill from both your interactions with Zebulon and Armitage's records. It is called Sentinel Hill. The tales speak of satanic rituals being performed there, rites in which great ritual pyres light up the night sky while the ground rumbles furiously below. Flocks of whippoorwills perch on the rooftops of the village around you, watching ominously as you climb inside Zebulon's old and beat-up truck. As you drive towards Sentinel Hill, more screeching fills the sky with an awful pitch that is painful to your ears. Everything you have read and experienced in Dunwich has led to this. If the foul ritual Seth seeks to perform has anything to do with what Armitage and his colleagues prevented several months back, not years, several months back, it involves the favor of an ancient creature, Yog Sothoth. Failing to stop this ritual may spell doom, not only for Dunwich, but for the entire world. All right, that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and just shuffle this a couple more times. I've already done it, but just show you that I do randomize everything. Let's see, what else do I need to do? Oh, yes, they start at the base of the hill. These two areas are currently, I cannot get to them. It says on here, this one requires 4 clues to go up. This one, it just says you can't, I'm sorry, let me flip them over. I had them on the wrong side. Yeah, all right, there we go. This one, 4 clues. This one, the path leading up the hill is masked. You cannot move up it. So obviously there's something's going to happen that's going to allow me to access one or both of these. I don't know which. So I'm just going to sort of set those aside. We're at the base of the hill. Let me read the agenda. It requires 12 doom to advance. This is the one you don't want advancing. Calling forth the old ones. As you approach Sentinel here, you hear ancient Latin rites bellowed across the night. The time for action has come. If you cannot stop the sorcerers in Dunwich, who knows what terrors they might unleash upon the world. Now the act, which is the one I want to advance, it requires 4 clues to advance this first one. And there are 3 in all. A vibrant arcane energy fills the air with a bone-rattling chill. The energy swirls along the crushed trails before you and seeps down several other paths. Objective. When the investigators have collected the requisite number of clues, 4, they must immediately spend them and advance. Okay, so I got to get 4 clues, and this one at the base of the hill does not have any clues. It has a 3 shroud. As an action, I can investigate here. If you succeed, instead of discovering a clue, put a random, set-aside diverging path into play. Limit once per round. Okay, is that per player or is that per person? I think that's just once per round. So only one diverging path. The diverging paths, there are 3 of them, and I'll just shuffle them real quick. I don't think it matters because I suspect you have to go to all of them. I'll put these over here, and so if I investigate successfully, I get to put one of those out. All right, so let's do that. Who do I want to go first? Let's go Jenny. Jenny is she's better at investigating. She's got a 3 investigate versus Mark's 2. So, she's got some good stuff. So her lockpicks, which costs 3 as an asset, she could play it. Then, if I use it, it says exhaust it, investigate, add your agility value to your skill value for this investigation. So she'd get 6. If you do not succeed by at least 2, remove 1 supply from lockpicks. So you could only get 3 attempts. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to put lockpicks in here, and it gets 3 supplies. So I use these little orange things. So that costs me 3 tokens, or 3 resources. That's her first action. Now for her second action, she will exhaust it and do an investigate. It costs, add your value to your skill. If you do not succeed, remove. Oh, okay, so I don't have to pay it unless I fail it. If you do not succeed by at least 2. I have to succeed by 2. All right, so she is now at 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 versus 3. I like those odds. The skull. Ooh, what is the skull? The skull is -1. It's -3 if you're at an altered location. I'm not at an altered location. So -1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 versus 3. I did beat it by 2, so I do not have to give up one of my lockpick tokens. So, because she did this, for her second action, she gets to pick one of these. Let's do this one. And how do you, can you just move there? Let's see, what does this say? A path off the beaten trail leads deeper into the woods surrounding Sentinel Hill. If you succeed in base of the hill is connected to each copy of Diverging Paths. So you don't have to worry about the connecting icons. It's just automatic. All right, so for her third action, she'll move. She moves here, which reveals this. There are 2 tokens here, 2 clues. It's got a Shroud of 3, and it says Forced. After you reveal it, lose the remainder of your actions and immediately end your turn. Well, she was at the end of her turn anyway, so that was probably a good thing. So flip this over. Her turn is done. Now Mark, I cannot do another investigate because Mark, it says limit once per round. So I guess Mark has to come here for 1 action. He'll move here. Let's see what he has to help. Play after you defeat an enemy, discover a clue. I wish there were an enemy here. But with his 2 resource, this would get him to 4. 4 versus 3 is not bad. I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard this. Discard that to raise it to 4. And then, can she help him in any way? She's at his location, so she can contribute 1 card. No, she'll use that on her turn because she's got this draw 2 card. Oh, no. Never mind. Exhaust. Lockpicks. Add your skip. Okay, so she cannot use the lockpicks. She can't give the lockpicks to him. So I'm going to contribute this. This will give him 2. So he's got 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6 versus 3. Again, I like those odds. This is his second action. 6 versus 3. I did get it, so I got a clue. And now for his third action, he needs to do it again. He doesn't have anything to help him in his hand. She could contribute 1, which gives it, which gives him. I put the wrong card. He did this one. She did this one. This is her discard. Sorry. And then she will play this to give him 1. So now he's at 3 versus 3. I don't like those odds. So I'm going to use the Sophie special. As a fast action, you can take 1 direct damage to get +2 on a skill test. So I will take that damage. I hate to do it, but I will take it to get +2. So now he's at 5 versus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2, so he fails it, and that is the end of his turn. Arrgh. Okay. Now it is the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. So it's the upkeep. You ready the heroes. You each draw a card. She got Overpower. He gets Police Badge. He also gets a resource, and she gets 2 resources. Jenny gets 2 on her turn. Okay. That is the end of the upkeep phase. Now it is the Doom phase. You place a Doom token. Now this one takes 12 Doom to advance. So 1, I'm okay for now. Then they have to draw event cards. And Jenny went first, so she draws first. She gets Crazed Shoggoth. 3 fight, 6 health. Spawn, nearest altered location. Well, here's the problem. There is no altered. So, the rules, as I understand it, says that if a location is not available, you discard it. And there's no surge, so she dodged that one. Crypt Chill from Mark. Test 4 will. If you fail, you choose and discard 1 asset you control. He cannot discard Charisma because it's permanent. If you cannot, take 2 damage. Ooh. So he's got a 4 sanity. He's got 3 will versus 4. He can contribute. Oh, I hate to do this. He's going to fail it. Can she contribute anything? She could do Liquid Courage, which will get him from 3 to 4, and he's testing versus 4. But if he loses, he's going to get 2 damage. I hate to get rid of the Police Badge, but I'm going to have to do it. because I don't want to get rid of Safeguard or Trusted, because that boosts an ally. So I will donate this or discard that to make it up to 3, 4, 5. 5 versus 4. That's the best I can do. 5 minus 2 is 3, so I do fail it, and he takes 2 damage. So he's at 3 damage now. Urgh. Okay. That is the end of the Mythos phase. It is now their turn. Jenny needs to get that clue. That would be her first action. Second action is move. Third action would be to reveal another location. So let's hope she gets this. So right now, she will use her lockpicks, which exhaust this. Exhaust it. Add your value to your skill if you do not succeed by 2. Okay, so she's got to succeed by 2, and this knocks her up to 6 versus 3. Six plus 1 is 7, so she gets the last clue. She doesn't have to use one of her lockpicks. For her second action, she will move here. And for her third and final action, she'll choose to investigate again. It's a 3. She can't use her lockpicks this turn. You know what? I don't want to do this with a 3 versus 3 because she has no cards to contribute. So instead, what I'm going to do is for her third and final action, I am going to have her play Emergency Cash for 0, and it gives her 3 resources and draw 1 card. 3 resources and draw a card. And this is a level 2. I upgraded this card with her experience. She got Jenny's 45s. That's exactly what I need for bad guys. All right. She is done. Mark's turn. Mark will move here. I guess Mark could try to investigate, but he's not going to. Instead, he's going to pay 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get out Greta Wagner. Oh, no. I put out the wrong one. This one. Greta Wagner as an ally. He gets +1 fight with her. After I defeat an enemy, I can exhaust her, put a damage on her, and discover a clue at my location. That might come in handy. So his first action was to move, second was Greta, and now I'm going to pay... Oh, he doesn't have to pay this. Fast. Play only during your turn. Attached to an ally, a gas that gets +1 health, +1 sanity. I'm going to upgrade Greta for his third action. It costs 1, and that is it for his turn. All right. It is no enemies. So flip these over. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1. He draws a card. Oh, he got his basic weakness. Choose and discard all but 1 card from your hand. All right. I get to choose it. So I want Safeguard, so I'll get rid of this one. Safeguard allows me, when another investigator moves from my location, I can play this as a fast action for free and move to that location, but I have to get it in play first. So he got a resource, he got a card, she got her resources, she did not draw a card. She got elusive. Okay. So they are done. Now I put a Doom token on, and I need to draw a card. She went first, so she draws Rotting Remains. Test 3 will. For each point you fail, take a horror. Her sanity, or her will, is 3, and she's going up against 3. Does she have anything she could play to help? She does not. Does Mark have something? Well, I don't want to get rid of the Safeguard. So she's doing a straight 3 versus 3. And I need to upgrade that. Okay, 3 versus 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. She fails it. So she takes... I got a 1. So she failed it by 2. So she'll take 2 horror. Oh, she's at 3 horror. Out of 7. Okay, I didn't need that card. And he draws Crypt Chill. Test 4 will again. He's got 3. If you fail, discard 1 asset or take 2 damage. I can't do anything. 3 versus 4. I hate to get rid of Safeguard. After another investigator moves, exhaust it, move. This is a great card. I will take... I hate to take another damage to get +2 on that. Take 2 damage. That's going to move him to 5, which means Sophie is going to flip. If Mark Harrigan has 5 or more damage on him, you flip her, and then I'm -1 to all my skills. But if Mark has 4 or less damage, you get to flip it back. So he would need to heal 1 to get rid of this. Oh, that sucks. I don't really have a choice. I need to get these clues. I need to get moving. So, 3 versus 4. About the only thing I can hope for is to get that +1. Or the Elder Sign. I failed it. So he takes 2 horror. He's at 5 now. And this flips over. So he's now at -1 on all my skills until he goes down to 4. And he is done. All right. It is now my turn. Jenny needs to investigate. She will use her lockpicks. 6 versus 3. 6 minus 1 is 5, so she does it. We'll take this one. And for her second action, she will move to it. It's got 2 clues and a 4 shroud. Forced. After you reveal Eerie Glade, discard top 2 cards of your deck for each action you have remaining. Let's see. She investigated, she moved, so she's got 1 action left, so she has to discard 1 card. Think on your feet. Ugh. All right. So her third and final action will be to investigate. She cannot use her lockpicks. Instead, she's going to get her guns out. Now, the interesting thing about Jenny's twin 45s, it has an X for the cost, where X is the number of bullets you want to put on it. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I am going to spend them all. 9 resources to put 9 bullets. Why? Because, man, those bullets are +2 fight and +1 damage when you use them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, she's got her gun out, and that is the end of her turn. She flips. Mark will move. And let's see. Okay, he can't really do anything. He only has 1 resource, so he can't play this card. So what I'm going to do is his investigate is 2 versus 4. He's not going to make that. She can't really help him. So instead, what he's going to do is he's going to draw a resource for action number 2. Then he's going to play Safeguard for 2, which allows him to follow Jenny whenever she moves from his location. I can exhaust that to get a free move. So it keeps them together. I like this card. And that is the end of his turn. All right. No enemies. Upkeep phase. Flip him over. He gets 1. She gets 2. He draws a card. 1, 2, punch. You get +1 for this attack if you succeed. Okay, that's a good card. She gets a weakness. She's got a mob enforcer that appears at her place. I can spend 4 resources to parlay with him to discard him, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll probably just end up fighting him or shooting at him. I could shoot at him. That'll do it. He's only got 3 health, so we'll have to see. She needs to get these clues, so she's going to have to deal with him. But she has no cards that are going to help her disengage. All right, I forgot to refresh this when I did the upkeep phase. All right, so this is going to slow me down. All right, so now it is the... Did I draw a card and give him a resource? I did. All right, so you place a Doom token. She has to draw a card. Dissonant Voices. Put into play. You cannot play assets or events. Discard at the end of round. He draws Ancient Evils. Place a Doom token. So another free Doom token for the agenda there. There are 4 on it. All right, her turn. She has... You know what? I'm gonna have Mark take care of him. He will go. He will engage the enemy as an action. Now he's gonna fight it. He will play. He can't play it. Well, he can play it +1. So for his first action, he engaged. He's got 2 more actions. He gets +1 fight because of her. And discover when you after you defeat an enemy, discover a clue. He could get another clue if he defeats this guy. So for his second action, he's 5 fight, 6 fight versus 4. 6 versus 4 is not bad. Jenny cannot play assets or events, but she can play a skill card to give him +2. So he is +2, so he's at 7, 8. 8 versus 4. I like those odds. I think it's pretty much the auto-fail tokens, the only thing that can hurt me. 8 versus 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. So that puts a point of damage on him. He's got 3 health, so 2 more. There's nothing I have that can do an additional damage. Darn it. So for his third action, he'll just do a straight up punch. 6 versus 4. 6 plus 1 is 7, so he does 1 more point. That thing's got 1 more point of damage to do to him. That is his turn. All right, Jenny, he can get this last clue once he defeats this. So she will play lockpicks. So it's 6 versus 4. Disengage from an enemy engagement and move to a revealed location. Okay, that's not going to help me. That's going to make it 7 versus 4. I got the +1 for each resource. She has 2, so I definitely get the clue. That was her first. That was her first action. She cannot play assets or events. So all she can do, she can't use the lockpicks again because it's exhausted. She could engage him and shoot him, and then she would get the final clue, and then he won't be able to attack Mark. So for her second action, she will engage Mark, the mob. She'll use a bullet, which is +2 fight and +1 damage. The +1 damage doesn't matter, but it's that +2 fight. You cannot, hold on, you cannot play assets or events. It doesn't mean I can't use them. Just can't play them. All right, so she is now at, her fight is 3, and she got +2 is 5. 5 versus 4. He will contribute this to make it 6 versus 4. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 4. Excuse me. 7 plus 1. So she puts the final death on him. Kills him. Oh, but Mark's the one that gets the I forgot about that. But that's okay. I don't want Mark taking any more damage. So, third and final action, she kills this guy. And she is done. All right, I got one more clue to get. Dissonant Voices is going to go away. There's no enemies, so these refresh. He gets 1, she gets 2. He draws a card. Dynamite, that might come in handy. And she gets Pickpocketing. After you evade an enemy, exhaust, and draw a card. Okay, not a bad card to have. Let's see. Now we place the Doom token. It's got 5 on it. She went second, so Mark draws first. Beyond the Veil. I hate this card. I remember this one. Put it into play in your threat area if there is no copy already there. If your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage. So basically, when my deck runs out, he takes 10 damage. He's dead. So, and then it's got Surge, so I have to draw another one. Frozen in Fear. Put it into play in your first area. The first time you perform one of the following: move, fight, evade. Each round, it costs 1 additional action. At the end of your turn, test 3 will. If you succeed, you can get rid of this. She draws Lupine Thrall. Spawn at the farthest location. Well, the farthest location from the Eerie Glade is all the way over here at the Frozen Spring, which I am not going to return to. Its prey is the lowest agility, 3 and 3. So I could choose Hunter retaliates. So it's going to start moving towards me. So that's okay. I've got a couple actions here. All right, it is now my turn. Jenny needs to get that last clue, so she will exhaust lock picks. Haven't failed yet. 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. 6 plus 1 is 7, so she gets the last one. And this says as soon as when the investigators have collected the required news, they must immediately spend them in advance. All right, so let me do that. So, that's exhausted. She did her first turn, so let me remember that. So let me flip this over and read it. During your search through the wooded paths around the base of Sentinel Hill, you come across a startling sight. A herd of sheep lays dead upon the ground in a secluded clearing, their bloody carcasses placed in a strange but careful pattern. Holding your nose against the stench of death, you step over the mangled sheep on your way to the center of the odd formation. In the center of the sheep lies the corpse of a man. A clear jewel has been firmly pressed into his forehead, caving in the front of his skull. Man. His eyes are wide, his face contorted in a vision of fear, as if beseeching you for mercy. Though you know better, you check for a pulse. As you touch the man's skin, the jewel in his forehead dissolves, and the woods around you seem to clear. Remove all clues in play. Well, there aren't any. The arcane presence masking the path further up the hill has faded. Reveal ascending path. So now the ascending path is revealed, which is really good because now I can get there from here, right? Yes. Okay, so now I'm at act number 2. Let me read this. As you ascend the hill, the environment around you grows increasingly strange and otherworldly. The arcane energy feels even stronger here, crackling in the air and crawling. Clues cannot be placed on non-altered locations. Okay, so now we're getting to the altered locations. When an investigator enters Sentinel Peak, when you get here, advance. So, that's interesting. So, they're going to jump straight there. As you ascend the hill. Okay. All right, so this goes away. This goes away. The thrall goes away. That was a lucky thing. The base of the hill remains, I guess, because I can always return to it to resign. And they go straight to the ascending hill. So, is this one just like the base? Ascending path is connected to each copy of altered path. Okay, so it's very similar. As an investigate, if you succeed, instead of discovering clues, put a random set-aside altered path into play. Okay. So she's still got 2 more actions. Okay, so, but the lockpicks is exhausted. So she would just be doing a 3 versus 3, and she has no cards to contribute to that. Mark is with her, but he can't do anything just yet. He's got this frozen in fear. So, oh man. Rather than waste an investigate action and possibly fail here, a 3 versus 3 is not good odds. Rather than do that, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 2 to play pickpocketing. This says after you evade an enemy, I can exhaust this to draw a card. So I will get this into play. And then for my third and final action, I'll draw a card. And I got Professor Warren Rice, an ally, which gives her +1 research. So that's good. I'll hold on to that. And remember, I can get 2 allies out, so with charisma. So her turn is done. Mark. This is crazy. 5 damage. So he's at -1 to every skill right now. So put Frozen in Fear. The first time you perform one of the following: move, fight, or evade. So he can't move, fight, or evade, but he doesn't have a need to. So what he's going to do for his first action is he will get a resource. Second action, he'll get a resource. And third action, he'll get a card. He got his Elder Sign Amulet. That's going to be helpful. Maybe. Okay. He is done. No enemies. They refresh. I have to do this. She gets 2 and a card. She gets clean them out. He gets 1 and a card, and he got shortcut. But he's got to deal with this now. At the end of your turn, test 3 will. If you succeed, you can discard this. All right. So his will is 3, and he's doing 3. He could get rid of... I don't know if Dynamite's going to help, but maybe it will later in the game. Elder Sign, he doesn't really want to get rid of that. He could give that to Jenny to protect her because she's at 3 sanity. This will give her +4 sanity. This is not going to help. Play only during your... choose an investigator. Move that investigator. Okay, hold on. All right. So, 3 versus 3. I don't like these odds. You know what? Jenny's at his location. She can contribute. No, she can't. No, she can't. That's not where you can do this. All right. 3 versus 3 at the end of your... I think she can. At the end of your turn, test. It doesn't say it's peril, so she'll contribute this card to make it 4 versus 3. 4 minus 2. He fails it, so it stays in play. Arrgh. All right. Now... put a Doom token. It now has 6 on it. Let me move these over and sub in a 3. And move these over and sub in a 3. So there's 6 on it now. Who went first? She did. So she draws a card, and she got Obscuring Fog attached to this location. It gets +2 Shroud. That's not good. Mark draws Obscuring Fog attached to your location. Limit 1 per action. Limit 1 per location. That was a good thing. All right, so it is now her turn. She will use lockpicks. She gets 6 versus... This is +2, +3 is 5. 6 versus 5. I do not like those odds. So Mark has nothing to do. 6 versus 5. Man. I'm going to play... You get +1 research. That's... Hold on. For her first action, she'll get Professor Warren into play and pay 3. That's a second action. She'll exhaust lockpicks to do this. Now she's at 7 versus 5. Yes. After you discover the last remaining clue, exhaust, draw a card. Okay, so I can't do that. All right, there's no clues here. So 7 versus 5, and I got it. Okay, so after attached location is investigated, discard it. Okay, so that goes away, and she gets to pick one of these. These are called altered paths. There are 3 of them, so I'll just randomize them here and pick one. Let's pick the center one. And for her third action... Mark has fast, play only during your turn. Choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator to there. I can move her for free so that for her third and final action, she can play... She could pull a card. And she got a 41 Derringer. That could come in handy, an extra weapon. All right, so she is done. All right, Mark's turn.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
He will move for his first action here, which reveals this. It has got 2 clues on it. It's got 3 Shroud, and it says Forced. After you reveal a tear in the path, that's the name of the card, take 2 damage if you have no actions remaining. Oh, he has actions remaining. He has 2. All right, so that didn't... He's got enough damage, man. I got to figure out what to do there. All right, so a Shroud of 3. He will play as a fast action. This is a free action. He's going to play Shortcut. Choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator... Oh, no. Play only... Choose an investigator at your location. No, that won't help. That won't help her get there. So what he'll do is he'll use Safeguard. After another investigator moves from your location to a connecting location, exhaust Safeguard, move to that location. That's not going to help him either. All right. Well, that was a bad play of cards, but that'll teach me to read them more carefully. All right. She's here. He's here. He is at 2 investigate versus 3. He has nothing that will help him, and he's at -1 because of his damage. So he's not going to choose to investigate. That would be a waste of resources for him. Instead, he could give that amulet to her, which I think I may do. I think you can... I can't remember how that works. And I don't have the rule book in front of me, so I'm not going to try it right now. All right, so for his second action, he'll play Elder Sign Amulet, which gives him... It costs 2, and it gives him +4 sanity. Not that he needs it, but he does only have 5, and she has 4, so they're close. For his third and final action, he moved. He played that, and then for this one, he'll draw a card. He gets 45. All right, he's got some weapons now, but he doesn't have the money to buy them. He is done. There are no enemies. And there are enemies in that deck, so I know they're coming. There are no enemies. So, upkeep phase, these flip over. She gets 2. He gets 1. He draws a card. He gets Guts. She draws a card and gets Opportunist. Now I play a Doom token. Now there's 7 out of 12. She went first, so she draws this. She got Visions of Futures Past. Revelation, test 5 will. For each point you fail, discard the top card of your deck. Her will is 3. She has nothing to help her. Mark is not at her location, so he can't help her. So 3 versus 5. 3 minus 3 is 0. She misses it by 5, so she's got to discard 5 cards. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Searching for Izzy. 4 and 5. Flashlight would have been a good one to get. Oh well. It lowers the shroud value of a location. All right. Mark draws Light of Aphorgomon. Peril. Only he can use this. Only he can react to this. You must attach Light of Aphorgomon to either the current agenda or the current act. Limit 1 per agenda or act. Treat all damage as direct damage and all horror as direct horror. So basically, I connect it to one of these. When they advance, this goes away. But until then, any damage he takes, I can't give it to Greta as my ally. I have to take it directly. The Ascending Hill, this takes 4 clues. So, and this is at 7. It takes 5 dooms. So I'll put it on here in the hopes that I can get these before this advances. I don't know. We'll see. All right, he's already in bad shape. He's a -1 because of all the damage he's got on him. I need a first aid's what I need. All right, that is their turn, or that is it for the Mythos phase. It is their turn. Jenny will move here as one action. For her second action, she'll use lockpicks. She is 6 versus 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. However, she did not succeed by at least 2, so she loses one of her lockpicks, but she does get a clue. And by the way, these 4 clues go back because they were used to advance the act, or the act. So she's got 1 clue on her, and that was her first action, or second action. She moved for her third action. She'll contribute this to make it 4 versus 3. And if I succeed by 3 or more, which I won't, this goes back in my hand, but that's okay. 4 versus 3. I did it. This goes back, goes here, but I did get the second clue. And that is her turn. Now, Mark's turn. Mark will move here for one action. He will play 4 to get out. Did I do this? I did not do this, did I? That move, evade, or fight. I think. Did I do that last time? I can't recall. I don't think I did. Let me do that. 3 versus 3. And I'll play Guts to make it 5 versus 3. And I did it, so that goes away, thankfully. So he can move. Now he can play 45 for 4. It uses 4 ammo tokens. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's got one more action. Oh, this is great. This is great. He can play Shortcut. Move that investigator. Oh. Choose an investigator and move it to a connecting location. But it has to be at your location. And this one, after another investigator moves from your location to a connecting location, exhaust it and move that. Okay. I keep forgetting to use these. I've got them backwards. She needs to move, then he can follow her. So I need to remember that. Choose an investigator, move that investigator to a connecting location. All right. So for his third and final action, he's not going to investigate because he'll fail it at 2 versus 3. No, 1 versus 3. He's at -1. So he'll draw a card, and he gets Overpower. All right. So that is his turn. It is the end of the phase. No enemies. Flip these over. She gets 2. He gets 1. He draws a card. He gets Haunted. A Treachery. Add Haunted to your threat. You are -1 to all your skills. It takes 2 actions to discard it. Well, I know what I'll be getting rid of next turn. She draws... Oh, no, that was his weakness. She gets Daring Maneuver. Play when you would succeed at a skill test. You get +2 to the test. All right. That's a good card to have. Put a Doom token. It is now at 8. She went first, so she will draw a card. She got Wizard of Yog-Sothoth. Here we go. Prey, the least cards in hand. He has 3, she has 2. When the engaged investigator draws a Hexer Pack, never mind, I don't have spells, and this is a victory 1, so I want to beat him. So this one will engage with her, and Mark draws Altered Beast. If there are no abomination enemies in play, it gains Surge. Okay. Frozen in Fear. He gets that stupid card again. All right. Her turn. She's going to shoot this wizard with her 45. She will pay a bullet. She gets +2 fight. So her fight is now 5 versus 4. She's going to contribute this gun, which do I want to get rid of that? Ugh. I don't like that. 5 versus 4 is not good. I hate to use the Derringer to make it 6 versus 4, but those are better odds. That gets 3 bullets. She's already spent 2, so this gives her 3 more. Well, she can't. It's a one-handed. This is 2 hands, so she has to. All right, so now she's at 6 versus 4. And she does. So it does 2 points of damage to that thing. And it's got 3 health. For her second action, she will shoot again. And she is now at 5 versus 4. I hate those odds. But she could contribute this, which is a while, to make it 6 versus 4 again. I'm going to do it. I don't want to lose this. 6 versus 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. Well, I would have tied, but that's okay. So the extra 2 damage kills this. I get +1 victory point for that. And she's got one more action. She will move here. And she is done. All right. Mark's turn. Oh, Mark. None of these are going to help him. He cannot move, fight, or evade because he's got this thing. So all I can do is really collect resources. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get 2 resources for 2 actions. Oh, no. Hold on. For 2 actions, I'm going to get rid of Haunted. That is one of his weaknesses. All right, and then he's got 1 action left, which I will be to draw a resource. And he is done. All right, that's all I can do. It is now, there's no enemies, so flip these over. Been very lucky with the enemies. Although, like I said, the lower that deck gets, there's a lot of enemies in here, so they're coming. He gets 1 resource. She gets 2. He draws a card. He got a flashlight. Yes. She gets sneak attack. What I really need is first aid. I need a first aid card. All right, so he got flashlight. All right. So, now we put a Doom token on. Oh, no, it's the upkeep, so I got to do this. Frozen in Fear. Test 3 will. He can get rid of... Choose an investigator, move that investigator to a connecting location. This is not. This is weird. All right. After another investigator moves from your location, exhaust and move. Okay, so when Jenny moves, I can play that as a fast action. All right. So, okay. So what do I need to do here? I put a Doom token on. No, I didn't. He needs to pass this. 3 versus 3. And I got this weird symbol, which is -X. Discard the top 2 cards. X is the total cost. All right, so he's at 3 versus 3. That's a 0 cost. Please let this be a 0 cost. It's not. And it's my guard dog. Darn it. All right, so he lost, so it stays in play. And now they draw cards. Oh, no, put a Doom token. Now it's at 9 out of 12. Jenny went first. She draws light, so she's got the same thing. Treat all damage as direct damage. All right, so I'll have to put it here. You must attach it to, on the current act, limit 1 per agenda or act. So both of them have to have one. Mark draws, Devotee of the Key, base of the hill, spawns. At the end of the enemy phase, Devotee moves once towards Sentinel Peak. If Devotee of the Key is already there, discard it and add 2 Doom. Oh, I got to kill him. So he's here, which means at the end of the enemy phase, he will move here. So I got to go and kill him. All right, Mark's got his gun for a reason. But the problem is it takes 2 actions to move because of Frozen in Fear. So Jenny's probably going to have to do this. They are at the ascending path. Oh, wait a minute. It has to come to the ascending path to go to Sentinel Park. He can only move, you can only move from base to ascending to Sentinel. So he has to come here. So I'll let him come to me, and then I'll shoot him. All right, so that's good. So on this turn, Jenny will... All right, what am I going to do here? Mark, oh, you know what? Jenny's got the better weapon. She can fire a lot. Mark's going to play Flashlight for 2, for 1 action. He's only got 1 in his hand, so he's got 1 hand item already done. So he gets 3 uses on that. Let me put, let me see, 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 uses on Flashlight. All right, for his second action, he'll investigate here. I can spend 1 of these. Spend 1. Your location gets -2. All right, so now it is at 1. His investigate is 2 versus 1, which is not so great. But Jenny will contribute this to make it that it's +1, so it makes it 4 versus 1. Right? 2. Oh, no, hold on. Mark's at 2. He's got -1 because of the damage. So he's at 1 versus 1. Then he used the flashlight. He did use the flashlight, so it's 1 versus 1. She contributes this to make it 2 versus 1. Still not great odds. 2 versus 1. He did it. So he gets to pick one of the other altered paths. Which one do I want? Let's do this one. All right. So let's see. He played flashlight. He investigated. He cannot move because it takes 2 actions because of this stinking card. So all he can do this turn is I'll have him. I'll have him get a resource. He's got a resource, and he is done. Jenny's turn. Jenny, he can shoot him, so we're okay there. Jenny can move here and see what the clues are. Is that right? Yes. She'll move here. It's got 2 clues. It's called the Dimensional Gap. Forced. After you reveal Dimensional Gap, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. Spawn that enemy here. A thrall. Okay, so first card, she now has a thrall engaged with her. So she moved. She's got 2 actions left. She can kill this with 1 bullet. She'll spend a bullet. She gets +2 fight. So now she's at 5 versus 2. And it's only got 2 health. So if she does this, it will kill it outright. So 5 versus 2. Ooh, what is that? Reveal another token. Cancel the effects of each skill card. Well, I didn't play any skill cards. So 5 versus 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. So she does kill the thrall. All right. So now she's got 1 more action. She'll use lockpick. And she is now at 6 versus 3. I can't do anything to lower that shroud. So 6 versus 3 to get a clue. Ooh, this again. 6 versus 3. Discard the top 2 cards. X is the cost. All right, so she's at 6 versus 3. Now she's at 5 versus 3. And now she's at 3 versus 3. And there goes her Elder Amulet, which I needed. But oh well. She still wins. So she did not have to... She did not have to... Why did I do that? Oh, yeah, I drew the thing. So she gets a clue. These clues... She gets another clue. And there's 1 more clue left. All right, so she moved, she fought, she investigated, she is done. Okay, let's see. There are no creatures. Yes, there are. Devotee will move. Now, it doesn't say he's what's that word? Aloof. So that means he will engage Mark. So Mark's here, so he will engage me, but he doesn't fight this turn. Well, he'll fight on his turn. So he moves. She beat the thrall, so no enemies. So refresh these, and he gets a resource. She gets 2. He gets a card, dodge, which could come in handy. And guts for her. All right. Now he needs to deal with this. 3 will. He's got 3. I can play. If I don't beat him, I can use dodge to not take the damage. So that's a good one to keep. Dynamite, I think, is going to come in handy. Shortcut. Play only, choose an investigator at your location, move that investigator to a connecting. That one's never going to come in handy at this point, so I don't think so. So I will play this to make it 4 versus 3. She is not at his location, so she can't contribute anything. 4 versus 3. 4 plus 1, he finally gets rid of this stupid card. All right, now we place a Doom token. That is 3, 6, 9. Put these away, draw a 3. Now it is at 10. 10 out of 12. Did he just go? Or did she go? He went first, so he draws. Ancient Evils. Place a Doom on the... Oh, man. All right. And then she draws. Altered Beast. If there are no abominations in play, gain Surge. The Altered Beast gains Surge. Otherwise, okay. Otherwise, choose it. Okay, so gain Surge. Dissonant Voices. Put into your play at the end of the round to discard it. So I cannot play assets or events. All right. Now it's their turn. All right, Jenny needs to get that clue. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do Mark first because I need to see what happens to this bad guy here. So it's he can fight him. It's 3 fight, 3 health. He will spend a bullet. It gets him +1 fight and +1 damage. So he is at 5 versus 3. I'm going to do overpower. Actually, on the next one, I don't want to use a bullet. So I'm not going to spend that right now. I'm going to do 5 versus 3. And ooh, that is -3 if you were at an altered. I'm not at an altered location. I'm at ascending path. So it's 5 - 1. So I did. So I do 2 damage to him. All right, 2 damage. And now I'm not going to spend a bullet because I'm just going to do a 5 versus 3, and I'm going to use overpower to make it 7 versus 3. And if I win, I get to draw a card. 7 versus 3. 7 - 2 is 5, so I do beat it, and I do get to draw a card. Is there a victory point on this? No. So it just goes away, and I get to draw a card. And I got emergency cash. Okay. So Mark's first action was he shot it. Second action was he fought it. He's got one more action. One more, and all he can really do... I'm going to play emergency cash to get 3 resources because I have a feeling this dynamite may be coming up, and it costs 5 to play it. All right. That is his turn. Jenny needs to get this last clue. She can use lockpicks to make it 6 versus 3. Ooh, that is a reveal another token, cancel any. Okay, so I didn't have to cancel any. 6 versus 3. 6 + 1 is 7, so she gets the last clue. Now, that was her first action. Second action, she's going to move to ascending path. Let's see. Then she can move to Sentinel Peak because it says as an additional cost to move here, you must spend 2 clues per investigator. She's got 4, so she will move here. She'll spend the 4 clues. I hope I don't need more clues later in the game, which reveals that this has got 4 clues on it. And it says forced. When an investigator at this location draws a hex card, well, she doesn't cast spells, that investigator takes a damage. Okay, victory 2 points if I get all the clues off of this. Victory points, remember, are like XP points. You can buy new cards with them. Mark is going to play a fast action. He can play Safeguard and exhaust it, which allows him to move here. Now, I know he's gone, but I believe that symbol means you can play it at any time in the game. I think. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that's the case. Either way, he's moving here next location. You know what? Since I don't know that, after another investigator moves, I think I can. After another investigator moves from your location to a connecting. Yes. So like on someone else's turn, I could play it. So I can play this outside of my turn. So I'm going to play it now to move him there. So they are both here. She went investigate, move. No, she went move. No, she investigated, she moved, and she is done. All right, so that is the end of her turn. Dissonant voices will go away. She didn't play any assets or events, which is good. Let's see, where am I? No creatures, right? Nope, no creatures. So they refresh or upkeep. He gets a card. He got evidence and a clue and a resource. She gets 2 resources. She's got lots of resources, and she gets a card. Chronophobia. Put it into play in your area. At the end of your turn, take 1 direct horror, or I can spend 2 actions to discard it. She's got enough horror on her right now. I don't need any more. So, okay. So now we put a Doom token on. 9, 10, 11, 12. That is enough to trigger. This goes away, and this flips. As you explore the paths surrounding Sentinel Hill, the chanting at the hilltop rises to a crescendo and takes an otherworldly quality, reverberating through the trees as if carried by unseen currents. The world begins to change. The grass and trees dissolve like sugar in a cup of tea. A vast, endless sky slices through the reality you see before you, and you feel drawn to it, terrified and awestruck. The arcane power becomes distorted and seeps around you, creating strange alterations in the land. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the deck. So all those go back in. All right. And then I reveal a new agenda. That's Amnesia was whose? I think it was his. I'll have to go back. And did I beat the Crazed Shoggoth? No, it did not. Because it never got revealed. All right, so these get shuffled. Then I have a new agenda that requires 10 Doom to advance. So it looks like I'm going to get 10 rounds, unless cards advance the agenda for me or put Doom on it. But at most 10. Could be less. All right, and one more shuffle, and we'll get going. All right, so that's done. So let me flip this over. Or no, the old ones were, the old ones are, and the old ones shall be. It's written like a poem. It's like in ancient language. Not in the spaces we know, but between them. They walk serene and primal, undimensioned and to us unseen. Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and the guardian of the gate. Past, present, future, all are one in Yog-Sothoth. He knows where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again. He knows where they have trod earth fields, and where they still tread them, and no one can behold them. By the way, since I moved here, I get to reveal this, because this says, when an investigator enters Sentinel Peak, advance. So let me read this one. Approaching the peak of Sentinel Hill, you are confronted by several citizens of Dunwich. The man in the center of their circle is desperately trying to complete a Latin incantation. "It's not working, Seth," one of the other men cries out. "What are we going to do?" The man in the center stops his chant and pulls out a cobbler's knife. "The father demands a blood sacrifice," he declares, and his face twists into a crazed expression. Before you can react, he slits his left wrist with a knife, dropping to his knees in agony. The headstone of the altar behind him splits open. A torrent of energy pours out of the stone, coalescing into the form of an open gate. Seth holds onto the stone in front of him to prevent himself from being sucked into the gate, but several of the others are startled and pulled through it. You barely manage to dig your heels in and grab hold of a nearby rock in time to resist the pull of the gate. Seth rises, wounded but alive. An expression of pride spreads across his pained face. Put aside Seth Bishop enemy. That was a card here. Put aside the enemy into play at Sentinel Peak with 1 damage on him per investigator. All right, with 1 damage per investigator. Okay, so that's cool. He has already damage on him. Probably, I don't know why. He's got 6 total health, but now he's down to 4. He's here. That dynamite's going to come in handy, I think. All right, then I have to reveal this one. This takes 4 clues. From the ruins of the headstone on the altar at the hill's peak, a gateway of churning, vibrant energy has appeared. A force like a hurricane erupts from the gate, bending trees and pulling debris into it. The howling of the gale drowns out all sounds. Somehow, you must find a way to close the gate. Objective: only investigators at Sentinel Peak may spend the clues as a group to advance. All right, so I need to get all 4 clues. The good news: I have a flashlight. Jenny has lockpicks. So we're not in too bad a shape. It is now... I put the Doom token on. I have to draw cards. So who went first? Was it Jenny? Jenny did, and then Mark followed her. Jenny draws Dissonant Voices. Cannot play assets or events. Mark draws Ancient Evils. Place a Doom token. So it's already at 1 Doom. All right. Oh, man. Okay. Let me see. It is now... Mark can... that Derringer's going to help because it does +1 damage, and it will pull him off of her, or allow her to do the investigate. He has, play after you defeat an enemy, discover a clue. Let's do that. If he takes all 3 actions, he can do, it's got 4 health left. So with a bullet, he can do 2 damage, and another bullet, he can do 2 more. All right, so he's going to fire a bullet. He gets +1 fight. His fight is 5, 6, and he had an ally that gives him +1. Where did I do with it? I thought he had +1 fight. Oh, yeah, Greta Wagner. So he's at 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 5. Jenny cannot contribute anything. He could contribute, hold on. He could contribute dodge to make it, what did I say, 7 versus 5? This will make it, no, that's not a fight card. Never mind. 7 versus 5. Here we go. Oh, that is minus the top 2 card costs. 7. Now it's at 5. I hope this is a 0 card. It is. So I tied. He does 2 more damage. So it's a 3. He's got 4 damage on him. For his next attack, he fires another bullet. This is 6 versus 5. 7 versus 5 with Greta. You know what? After you defeat an enemy, deal 1 damage. Oh, this is so awesome. I can do this. 7 versus 5. That is -1. So he kills Seth, which gets me a victory point. Now, he has evidence. He can fast play it. Play after you defeat an enemy. Discover a clue. He's got a clue. Greta says, after you defeat an enemy, exhaust her, deal a damage to her, and discover a clue. So I will exhaust her, put a damage on her, and get another clue. Where did I put that first clue? I put it on, where did I put it? Oh, I put it on his weapon. He's got 2 clues. And he is, does he have 1 more action? He shot. He's got 1 more action. He will, what can he do? He can't really do anything. Play after an enemy attacks, investigate vision, guts. I don't want to draw a card because it could be bad. It could be first aid, which might help. But hold on. Let's get here. He's at 2 investigate versus 4, but he's got a flashlight. He can spend it to make that 2. So now he's at 2 versus 2. I'll take those odds. 2 versus 2. Oh, I got to put this one back in. 2 versus 2. I did it. He's actually getting all the clues, and he's done. Now, she's got dissonant voices. You cannot play assets or events, but she doesn't have any. So she will play lockpicks, which is 6 versus 4. And that is -1, so she gets it. And she did beat it by 2, so she doesn't have to give up a lockpick. I think this game is over. Once investigators at Sentinel Peak spend the requisite number of clues, advance. I will spend 1, 2, 3, 4, and advance. You don't know how to close the swirling gate before you. What? And with each passing moment, the force from within it grows in strength. You fear that whatever entity the sorcerers have summoned from beyond approaches. With no time to spare, you turn to the open tome on the stone altar, desperate for answers. Read R1. All right, let's see what happens. R1. The poorly bound tome appears to be written records of old Whatley, the man who taught Wilbur the ancient secrets of sorcery. You find a passage describing a place outside of time and space where worlds converge and Yog-Sothoth dwells. Only by reaching this nexus at the edge of reality can you unmake the tear that has split open the world. Feeling as if you may be going to your doom, you muster a final ounce of courage and step into the gate. In your campaign log, record, investigators entered the gate. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X on the cards in the display. Okay, so I get no victory on the X, I don't believe. No. I did get victory too because I got all the clues here. So I have 2. Wizard gives me 1. That's 3. And Seth gives me 4. I have 4 victory points to buy new cards. And that was awesome. I mean, that could not have gone better. I think getting out the lockpicks early, which allowed me to really beat the shroud value by adding my agility to my basic investigate skill, that allowed me to quickly get those clues. I think I'm very lucky in the sense that not too many enemies showed up. When they did, they were either couldn't be put in play because there was no revealed location, or they were pretty easy to shoot at and kill. So I guess I lucked out there, but I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, the next video is going to be Scenario 7, Lost in Time and Space. It sounds really fun. Cannot wait to play it. Join me here next Monday, and we'll get to playing Lost in Time and Space. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me in this playthrough video. Everybody, take care.